Hey everybody, welcome to Houses and Homies. Today we're going to talk about screening tenants and um, I live in Arkansas and Alana lives in Minnesota, so we'll talk a little bit more specifically about those states, but generally. And then also just want to congratulate Alana on her closing the other day. She just closed on another property. You want to tell us a little bit
Yeah.
about it? And it's door, like you're up to 15 doors now, right?
Yeah. Yep. As of yesterday, officially 15 doors.
Yes.
Yeah, the closing process went I don't know, it just like all went really smooth. Like it was um probably one of the easiest closings I had, and I'll like kind of explain why. So the financing for this one, I talked about it a little in the first episode, but just like a tiny little recap, is that usually for an investment property, you have to put 20% down.
Hmm.
And I asked the lender, who I have a really good relationship with, like, what about 10%? He's like, I think we can make that happen. Why don't you bring 5% cash? We'll pull 5% equity from one of my other places. And so it was really nice because I have that, I paid for it with like my line of credit. I had a completely like clear line of credit through that same bank. So they like
Hmm.
wired the money. Like I didn't have to get any like checkout for a down payment. Like it was all just kind of done. I showed up and signed the papers, got keys, and then got two rent checks. So
That's
that was super,
awesome.
super nice. Yeah, that was super nice. And the sellers were also really generous because since I bought it November 18th, like the rent was going to be prorated,
Hmm.
because like they had it more of the month. So like I was just going to get like the rent from like the 18th to the 30th, but they
Yeah.
gave me full rent checks.
Wow. That's
That was like
awesome.
really, really nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it went really good.
Cool.
I'm excited. And that kind of leads into what we want to talk about today, guys. I need to find a tenant for one of the spaces in the triplex. So I'm in the process of trying to do that right now, and we want to talk to you about kind of like how to find a good tenant, what to look for, mistakes that we've made, and yeah. So what do you think? What's the first thing that comes to mind when you think about that, Rachel?
Posting, yeah, posting your home on Zillow. There's a whole bunch of them, but the two that come to mind for me are Zillow and Facebook Marketplace, really. Um, I found my current tenants on Facebook Marketplace. And I think it kind of depends on the uh, the word is not coming to mind, but the like how expensive your rent is and how nice your house is. I think for nicer houses that cost more, I think Zillow and the more sophisticated websites are going to be a better route for finding tenants. I think for my house, it's not anything crazy. It's a basic two bed, one bath. And I think it's targeting a certain demographic, and that demographic is normally more active on Facebook Marketplace. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that's a good point.
yeah.
Like the way the like basically market yeah, can kind of go towards a specific demographic. Yeah,
Mhm.
I put mine on apartments.com.
Nice.
Here's the thing with Facebook. I have found really good tenants on Facebook. Like actually I've never okay, I have found one bad one on Facebook. But I don't have Facebook, and like I
Okay.
refuse to get it. And so I like rely on like my friends like
Nice.
posting it for me, like with
Okay.
my phone number and stuff. And so sometimes I just feel like a pain. And so like I haven't asked them to post it yet. I wanted to see like what I was getting through apartments.com, which is free to post, free to like create a lease as well on
Mhm.
apartments.com. You can say like what state you're in, and it will like write the lease so you're like meeting all the requirements of that state and stuff.
Yeah.
But I've had like 2,400 views, tons of
Wow.
calls, one application. Um, but other people like want to see it first, and
Yeah.
there's still tenants in there, and I just bought it yesterday, so it's like I haven't got to show them yet.
Yeah.
But the one application I got, this is like a good example of like what to look for in a tenant and like decline the application. But okay, I require a background check through apartments.com. They'll like do a require a background check because I've
Mhm.
burned myself by not doing that before.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure this. applicant like declined the background check because it never came back. And I waited a
Hmm.
couple days, never came back. And so I looked this person up on minnesotacourts.gov or whatever,
Yeah.
and he's been in jail like 13 times. And a lot of it is for like, there is like squatting charges, there is destruction to a property intentionally, large amounts of drugs, not marijuana, fleeing from a
Wow.
police officer. And I was like, thank goodness I looked it up
Yeah.
because like I'm not feeling like desperate for a tenant whatsoever, because the other two units like pay the mortgage anyway, but it'll be really
Yeah.
nice to have one. But I was like, oh my goodness. And he's actually like, he is not harassing me, but he's like contacting me a lot about how he's like a different person now and blah blah blah.
How
So
long ago were those charges?
so some were quite a while ago, but then some were like 2021, which isn't a very long time ago. But also, I take into account like his age. So he's like late 30s. So like when those charges were happening, like he was like in his 30s.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
if someone's like 18, 19 and like doing like really dumb stuff, like that's kind of one thing. But I'm
Yeah.
like, he was older than me when he was like doing this stuff. Like, so I don't know. And like, okay, so what do you think about this? Like the empathy. Like someone who's very empathetic, someone listening who's very empathetic, and like this person has asked me for a chance to like prove himself differently,
Hmm.
and it is like tearing me apart because have so much like empathy and like compassion and like I can put myself in those shoes and like
Yeah.
whatever, but what do you think of that?
It's tough because you have to like stand strong as a business owner um and not let yourself get taken advantage of. And with his background, I don't know, that's a little scary. I yeah, that's definitely scary. If it was, and also I think if the charges were different, if it wasn't like damage to the property that he's living in, so that's like a direct representation of what could happen to your place. If it was like, I don't know. I mean, there's no crime
And other
that's
tenants live there.
acceptable, but yeah, exactly. No.
So like especially being like respectful of the other tenants in that building. For
Yeah.
sure. And so that kind of brings me to like well, I don't say number one. One of the top things I look for though is when he first called me. He actually called me from a sign in my yard before apartment finding me on apartments.com.
Yeah.
He seemed really desperate. Like I could just like feel it. I could hear it in his voice. Like desperate, like that is a red flag, everybody. That's a
Yeah.
red flag. The one other tenant I had that sounded really desperate is the one that left me like out $3,000 and a place infested with fleas. So I would
Yeah.
say like look for like are they desperate or do they like have a plan like I want to leave the place I'm at currently in like a
Mhm.
month or in 2 months because of X, Y, and Z? Like
Yeah.
is there a reason that they're moving besides they can't find like another place or
Yeah.
they're being kicked
Desperate
out of where they're at?
desperation is a sign that there's like that they're being kicked out or something. Because most people, if you're mature enough to hold a lease and, take care of something, you're gonna prepare in advance. You're not just gonna look for a lease the day before your current lease is up. Desperation means that there's a reason that, I don't know, that you're desperate, I guess.
Yeah.
But it is hard
So
because
then like on the flip
you
side,
want to offer you want to offer him a chance if he has like with the back to the empathy thing. It's hard because yeah, I feel that you want to be the person that helps him change his life and and gives him a chance, but
yeah. And like on the and then his only landlord reference had the same last name as him, so I'm like, okay, so it's like his mom. I don't know. Like they're not gonna give me Mama wants him out of the house, so she's
yeah.
she's gonna give me a great, you know what I mean? And then
Yeah.
on the flip side, like I have a tenant that he moved in August. He's great, super respectful, pays on time, like whatever. Like his finances didn't come back like super super great.
Mhm.
But I think that's somewhat on paper, like whatever. But I called like references. Like I did not call, do not call the most current landlord or the current landlord because like they might be like, get this person out of my place. Like they're
Hmm.
amazing. So I went and called like one that he hadn't lived at for a while, and they gave like a great reference. And then I was like, okay, like that's good. Then he had like a dog that's like, I'm like, is he good with people and whatever? And like, so there's just like all these like barriers, but he was so open and honest with me. And then he told someone else he applied for it, like not knowing that that person knew me. And then they're like, hey, like truly, like this is a really, really good guy. Um, so anyway, yeah, it's just like kind of doing your homework, due diligence. What
Yep.
about your tenants?
Yeah.
You found them on Facebook Marketplace, and what did you
I did
like?
find them on
Was there any
Facebook
tenants that you
Marketplace.
had to decline?
Um, I don't think so. The ones that I declined were the ones that didn't finish completing the application. One of the things that I thought was kind of difficult was like, um, one of my family friends, he said, do not give people tours unless they have completed an application because a lot of people go on tours and not have any of the requirements that you want in a tenant, and then you're just wasting your time. But I found that there wasn't enough interest for me to do that. So I gave tours before they filled out an application. And honestly, like if I was gonna go look at somewhere I wanted to rent, I wouldn't want to have to pay $50 to $100 in an application fee before even getting to see the place. But anyway, yeah, I had two applicants. The first ones didn't completely fill out the application. Didn't look like they had the financial income or the income requirement. And my current tenant, something did come up on the background check, so then it was like a personal decision, really, like, do I want, is that okay? Am I okay with that?
Yeah.
Um, so that was kind of tough, but I am so grateful that I did let them, or like did approve their application, because these are the guy who had something on this background check is one of the most respectful people that I've ever met. He has a loud car, and he like does not start it after a certain time of night. Like he has friends over, and he like keeps the music at a low, and like we're in a duplex. We have walls shared.
Yeah.
So I'm just, and um they got a trampoline without asking, and I was like, that's not gonna fly, like please take it down. And they were like, oh my gosh, so sorry. Absolutely, we'll take it down next day. And they did. And so yeah, I'm grateful for how it has turned out so far. So hopefully they keep on that route.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what it comes down to too, is like not perfection in tenants, but just
Mhm.
like the willingness to be like openly communicate and
Yeah.
um like have boundaries, and like how they respect those boundaries and how like we
Yeah.
respect like our boundaries. Like
Yeah.
we were talking before we started the podcast a little bit, like that Arkansas is a little bit more of like a landlord friendly state than Minnesota. So Minnesota,
Yeah.
like I have to be really careful on tenants because it's harder to like evict them. And I believe
Yeah.
Arkansas like may have like quicker like eviction processes and stuff like that. Um, so
That's one of
yeah,
the things,
that's something.
one of the reasons I wanted to invest in Arkansas, because as a first time property um owner, like real estate investor, it's kind of scary if like even the government isn't on your side if something goes wrong. I've heard stories about people in like states where it's more tenant friendly, where there's squatters and it's impossible or really, really challenging to get them out. And so, like investing in Arkansas, I'm not trying to take advantage of tenants, but to have the ability to kick someone out if they're disrespecting the property and doing things that are not allowed is really a comfort.
Yeah. So there's this concept called cash for keys. Um, and I actually have a real life experience of it. Not, well, kind of me, but the one I'm going to talk about is someone I know. And this is like happened to him right when I was getting into investing. And so it kind of freaked me out a little bit. But he had a
Hmm.
place, and this guy was just like refusing to just stop paying rent near the winter time because I believe like legally we cannot evict in the winter. Like if they we can't forcibly like evict
Wow.
um because of how harsh the winters are up here. And
Yeah.
so this guy like kind of knew the laws and he wouldn't leave. This isn't my place, but this is my friend's place. And so then my friend like offered him, I think at first like $1,000 to leave. And he's like, nope, gonna stay without paying rent. So then he's like, I don't know, went up to like 1,500, 2,000, 3,000. I think it got to 5,000 before he would leave. And he took him to court and everything, but like the court's kind of like the guy doesn't have money, so it's like what are we suing for? Like it's so stupid to me. Like we can put our heart and soul into these properties and like they're literally legally ours, but like we don't have sometimes as many rights as like the tenants do.
Hmm.
And I'm just so like grateful to have amazing tenants that are all like super awesome now. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. It is crazy. And those laws make sense in certain circumstances where there are landlords that are trying to take advantage and but and like from a human right perspective, like it would be unfortunate if they became homeless in Minnesota winters that are so extreme. But it's not fair to, especially like us, not we're not like huge landlord corporation kind of deals where we can afford to do
So
that.
true.
So,
Yeah, that's so
yeah.
such a good point. And like honestly, in Minnesota, I just thought of this now, but like if a place like hold on, I don't know. I don't know how to say the thought that I'm thinking. Okay. Sometimes when looking for tenants, like okay, so like when I go to like a car rental place or like I'm going to like buy a car. Okay, so like I bought a Jeep a year ago, okay? One of the first questions I ask is like was this a rental car? Like, did you rent it out to people like before it went on the lot? And if the answer is yes, I don't want to buy that car. People typically can like treat rentals like it's not their own. Like they can like try to go like really fast on them, just be really hard on them, just like, you know what I mean? And so sometimes I think about that
Yeah.
like with properties, like I want a tenant that's like gonna like really respect it, even though it's like not theirs. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, so that's kind of like how I think about it as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then so some other, because I don't know who's going to listen to this now or in the future. So we have found the top landlord friendly states. So first we have Texas, which is only a 3-day notice to vacate for lease violations.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That is
I could not
insane.
imagine that happening in Minnesota.
I
Yeah.
know.
I was interested going through some of these because I didn't even know that some of these laws existed. Florida has really low property taxes, so that's landlord friendly, but they also have no rent control. So the landlord basically can like, there's no cap on what they could raise the rent. Indiana, no rent control. Arizona, Alabama, Georgia, Colorado. That kind of surprises me. Colorado has banned rent control and low taxes, and they get 60 days to return a security deposit.
That's interesting. I think it is harder to evict tenants in Colorado though. It like there may not be rent control, but they don't favor landlords in that aspect. I think generally um it swings with the politics of that state. So red states tend to be more landlord friendly, and blue states tend to be more tenant friendly. Generally, not always, but that's like kind of like a rule of thumb ish. Um,
Yeah.
but just something to be aware of.
Yeah, that makes sense since Colorado, isn't it a swing state? Right?
I'm not sure. I don't remember.
I'm not sure either.
Yeah.
I don't like politics, so I'm not really sure. And then states with stronger rent protection. So like this is stronger renter protection. So like this is something to really think about for people investing out of state.
Hmm.
Honestly, because like this stuff can happen and it might not work in your favor, but then if you're out of state at the same time, like I just think that's like really like can be a
Yeah.
double whammy. We have Oregon, strongest tenant protections in the country.
Wow.
California has statewide rent control and recently passed a just cause eviction law. I should have looked into that, like what the just causes can be. But
Hmm.
I'm assuming that like it's not that or I'm assuming it is hard to get evicted in California.
Yeah.
New York has strict rent control measures. Hawaii. Aw, I would love to invest in Hawaii. Oh well, vacation spot.
Yeah.
Washington, D.C., Illinois. So, Illinois, a recent rule bans landlords from mandating electronic rent payments.
Wow.
Interesting.
That is
I
interesting.
don't see why.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see why. And then New Jersey. So, yeah,
Huh.
Minnesota's not on there. I think it would be on the spectrum. Arkansas would go more towards the landlord friendly, and Minnesota would
Yeah.
go towards the tenant friendly. And I kind
Yes.
of knew that when I bought too, but like I was just kind of like, well, this is where I am. Like that's what I'm
Yeah.
gonna do.
That's fair. And it's easier to manage them when you're right next to them, when you live in the same
Yeah,
state as them. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So much easier. Um, but yeah. Anything else? I keep having thoughts come and leave my brain. Just like what it's
Um,
like knowing me.
I'm sure, I mean, the amount of information is endless, but I'm still at the beginner phase, so I've only had like one experience with like finding tenants and dealing with tenants. So I'm sure there's more to come. Have you had any bad
Yeah.
experience, or you said you had one bad experience? Are there any other experiences that um have had learning curves in them?
Yeah. Yeah. It's so like it's such a privilege to have to be a landlord, honestly. Like I honestly really love it because
Yeah.
like it gives me opportunities every day to like be there for people, like to be like I love having like a sense of urgency and like everything like that. But like when tenants don't have the same kind of sense of urgency. Okay, so
Mhm.
like right now, and this isn't like a bad experience, but it's just like the beginning. So I bought my triplex yesterday, like closed on it.
Mhm.
Got all the phone numbers for everyone the night before I closed because I was like the sellers gave that to me. And I don't know. I think like maybe some of the tenants are just like sketched out that someone else is buying it and like they're worried about rent going up and stuff like that.
Mhm.
And so like two of the tenants have just like kind of been hard to get a hold of and stuff like that. And it's like I don't know, like as tenants are sensitive about that stuff, like so am I kind of because I really want to have a good relationship and I want the communication to be open because with my really bad experience, that's where it started to go downhill was
Mhm.
communication
Yeah.
on his end. But yeah, like there's a also like finding a good tenant or keeping a good tenant, I should say. So one of the rents in this triplex is a studio apartment. It's only 400 a month, and that's
Wow.
really really cheap.
Yeah.
And so like at first I was thinking, okay, they're like he's on a month to month. So I was thinking, okay, like I'm gonna probably raise rent, like not crazy, but like maybe like 500 a month. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like 400 is like insanely cheap. I charge
Yeah.
my sister more rent than that. I charge her 550. But anyway, so then the seller came back and they were like, "Oh yeah, he's kind of a special situation." I actually met him today. So I called him and he answered now and was like, "Yeah, you can come by at so and so time." And so I went and met him and just got to know his story a little bit. So he's on Social Security and he's
Mm.
lived there for 14 years. And he looks like Mr. Rogers.
Wow.
It's so cute.
Wow.
Like he's like just an old man in a sweater and I was like,
Aw.
"Hey, I just want to let you know like I won't raise rent on you."
Yeah.
Like there is so much value in like keeping that like solid good tenant too.
Yeah.
And like just being like a decent human,
Yep.
you know? Like
Yeah.
being an empath isn't always like a bad thing. It can be a really really good thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's like why I have like happy tenants because like I'm willing to hear them out if they're going to be a little late or whatever,
Mhm.
but yeah, it's one of the scariest parts probably of being a landlord. So, yeah, make sure you're doing your background checks, credit checks.
Yeah.
Um,
Especially if you're house hacking, because I think like if you're living right next to the person, you want to make sure that you're gonna feel safe. So background checks are especially important. Um,
yeah,
but
yeah. 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 Yeah, well, I'll keep everyone updated next time we talk about like kind of the process if I get more applications for that unit. I really hope so. My bank is awesome and they're not like charging me my first payment till January 10th. They're like, "Yeah, we like to give you time to find renters." I'm like, "You guys are amazing. Cool." So I'm not like super stressed out about it or anything, but yeah, just going through the process, like having systems in place more than I ever did before just to make sure we get the right fit. So, yeah, excited. Cool. Yeah, thanks, Rachel. We will see you next time.